Welcome to the Real Retirees of New Jersey, powered by Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors.
If you take proper planning and you create a plan and you use the strategies that are available to you, the outcomes and the probabilities are much higher and in your favor than not.
Randy and Peggy Fisher want to help you retire once and retire right.
That was the voice of Randy Fisher of Artemis Wealth Advisors. Peggy Fisher of Liberty Financial Group is also here. You can meet them both at therealretireesofnewjersey.com to meet the team. And we mentioned it a couple of weeks ago here on the show. And we were talking about why adults are reluctant to call you, because what happens? We get the sniffles, we get sore, we find a lump. What do? The first thing we do is we call our doctor. So why is that? Peggy Fisher, Randy Fisher. Adults, retirees, pre-retirees, we're worried about our financial future, but for some reason we're like, I'm not as concerned about that as much as I am going to get this scratch looked at.
Well, yeah, and we talk to people about that all the time. Like I'll always say, they'll say, well, I come to even a financial advisor. Well, I do it on my own. Okay. Well, did you get a degree in that? Do you know about that? Do you have,
I talked to my neighbor, my friend.
Yeah. My neighbor said, or Johnny said, and we always talk about things like second opinions. A lot of times when you go to your doctor, you'll get that first opinion and then they'll say, oh, we're going to chop your arm off. And you're like, maybe let's go check with another one to see if that's really what I should be doing. And we say that all the time to clients. If for anything, come get a second opinion. If you went to your doctor and you heard something, a lot of people, I know I've gone for second opinions for things, right? Same thing with your money and finances. Check us out, see if, you want to, get someone else to just take a look at your stuff. If for anything, to see, what can they offer you, or what is my current financial advisor not offering me, right? And you could definitely we call it our, analysis. We'll take someone's information and analyze it. And that's your second opinion with us. And we find out a lot of great things that come through that.
But it's not opinion, it's facts.
Yeah, it is facts, right? Exactly.
The programs that we use are independent. They're separated from us, which is great. It basically just shows absolute 100% facts of your portfolio.
Right.
Or your financial plan.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So breaking down the inefficiencies, or really the efficiencies. I mean, it's not only that we find bad things, we find good things.
Or what are you doing? You're diagnosing some finances, just as a doctor would, taking a diagnosis of what's wrong with you, or what do you need, or what can we do to make things better. It's the same thing with your finances and your money. But
it's also taking advantage of everything holistically.
Yes.
Right. So it's not going to a stock jockey,
right,
or someone who's working at a brokerage firm.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with those people who are working there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's a good living. They've got a job to do, but they're not taking into consideration taxes, financial planning, cash flow, retirement planning, the whole deal. They're worried about one thing, right?
Yeah.
They're worried about how much money can you give them, assets under management, and are they making any money for you?
Right.
They can care less about taxes because the little disclosure at the bottom of the page says that they don't give tax advice. They don't give Social Security advice. They don't give income advice. They're worried about one thing: holding on to your money for as long as they possibly can and making a return.
Right.
Although that sounds good, that's not a financial plan, right?
No.
That's not financial advice. That's someone who's basically looking out for one item in particular.
Yeah.
That's like saying, I'm going to go to the doctor, but the only thing he's looking at is my cholesterol.
Yeah.
He has nothing to do with with anything else. He has nothing to do with my weight, my diet, my blood pressure, nothing.
Right.
He's just worried about cholesterol.
Right. Well, that's why you go for that well visit. We call it like a well visit here.
It is. It's a holistic visit.
Let's take a look at everything you've got and take a look at it and diagnose what you think we could do for you.
Well, the differences too between doctors and advisors is you go to the doctor normally for checkups, right?
Yeah.
You go there at least once a year, hopefully, maybe more often. There's not many people that go to their advisors on a frequent basis, or have a relationship where the advisor literally is going over something with them frequently.
Right.
There's a reason why trust is lost.
Yeah.
Because most people think that it's a transactional relationship with an advisor instead of a relationship that gives advice.
Yeah.
Right? A doctor gives you advice. Mm-hmm. How often have you gone to the doctor and he says, hey, listen, this is what's wrong with you. Here's this pill. Go get this prescription.
Yep.
Do you do it?
Yes.
99% of the time, I'm sure people do it. Unless you have a prescription, an older one that's sitting in your house and you don't want to pay the copay.
Yeah.
You're going to get what they told you. You don't say, well, doc, Is there another one?
Yeah. Should I
do it? Is there a?
Can I go home and think about that? You just told me I will die, but can I go home and think about it?
Well,
See what I'm going to do about it.
I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah,
okay.
right. Exactly.
Right? It's not the way it happens.
Yeah. Well, it's just like a doctor cares about the welfare of you as like a human being, your health. We care about the welfare of your finances. That's how you could equate it to being the same. We're the doctor of finances. Doctor is a doctor of your, welfare of your body.
The other thing I think too is when you go to the doctor, you can see tangible evidence, right? So if you go and he says, he or she take this pill, let's have an x-ray, let's do a test. There's evidence of what they're talking about.
Well, we do our financial x-rays.
We go to a financial
Yes.
x-ray, but it's almost abstract, right?
Yeah.
The outcomes are abstract until they're real.
Right.
Right? I mean, I'll give you an example. I have a really good client, which is actually a friend. He goes and golfs with a number of buddies. On a foursome, there's 3 other advisors and him, who he's now retired early because we're a great advisor.
Yes.
But anyway, he always describes that somehow it always comes up. They're always talking about returns and this, that,
Of
the next
course they
thing.
are on the golf
And
course.
he's always talking about the returns in which he's getting, which the 3 advisors that are actually out playing golf 2 times a week or 3 times a week are basically telling him that the returns in which he's getting sound risky. Because the only thing their clients get is someplace between 7 and 10% on a good year.
Yeah.
And that's because they are not advisors.
Gatherers.
They're money gatherers. And that's
right.
the reason why they're on a golf course 2 and 3 times a week. Because they've gathered enough assets that they get a percentage. They make a ridiculous living off of just having to return phone calls to clients to tell them you're in the boat with everybody else.
You're staying where you
Everybody's
are.
going to be in the same
Yeah,
thing.
right, yeah.
Everybody's losing money. Everybody's gaining money. No different, right?
They call that coaching.
Yeah, that's
I'm
coaching.
coaching to tell
That's
you that.
crap.
Yeah, they're coaching to tell you that it's
Right?
okay. Just stay where you are.
I call that lazy advisors. So when he describes that over the past multiple years, 2, 3, almost 4 years, he's gotten double-digit returns every single solitary year. And not only double-digit returns, but he's beaten the market.
Yeah.
They want to know how it happens. He describes it. He shows them statements. They still don't believe it because they don't want to do the work. That's the deal. I have a number of colleagues that are out there. They're not into advising and managing money. They're into gathering as much money as they possibly can. It's almost like they're a trawler on the sea with a huge cast net that's out there. And all they want to do is continually bring in new clients to just put them under management, collect a fee, and make sure that hopefully on a monthly basis, they're positive result.
Yeah.
If there's a positive result, they don't get a phone call. If there's a negative result, they have to explain what happened. And then their explanation was, well, I don't control the market. You ever hear that, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah.
Or everybody's in the same ballpark. If you're investing in the market right now, and if the market was down, you're probably down too. Well, that's not true, right? I'll give you a case in point. Just this past week, I remember the NASDAQ was up, I think 20 points for the day. Not too much, right? It's positive, but not too much. Most of our actively traded accounts, they made buku money because they were in the individual specific positions, like a stock picker's market is what it is these days. And their accounts blew up. I'd get messages and from people saying, how did my account go up this much when the NASDAQ was, flat? The other story is when the market is negative sometimes, people look on their statements and they go, wow, that wasn't really a bad day. Why did that not happen? Because we weren't just in the benchmark, right? We weren't just in the market. We were in individual specific items in different sectors, in different industries. And the fact of the matter is too, when we create a gain, the only way to actually take advantage of that gain is to do what? Sell it. We sell the gain. We capitalize on it. We take the money, we put it back into the portfolio, and then we go buy something else that has another opportunity. That's how we continually turn over gains, where instead of having a 4 or 5 or 6 or 7% rate of return in a year, we have multiple digit returns in a year. And we have data to prove it, which is really nice. So going back to that tangible versus intangible evidence, when you go for a test and it comes out with an MRI or an X-ray, there's tangible evidence that something's wrong with you, right?
Right.
When you go to a financial advisor and he says, well, I can fix your portfolio, but you don't have the evidence that it's going to happen. You have to have a little bit of trust. Well, how do you trust? You have to give it a go, right? You just can't say, well, I'll think about it. You could think about it again. So when you think of what's value versus what's expense, what's fees, the 2 people that were sitting on the sideline basically said to me, or us, I don't know if I really want to pay that. Well, guess what? I'll exchange $5,000 for $200 and something thousand every day of the week.
Exactly.
Right. So was it worth it in that person's mind? We got referral after referral after referral after referral from these people. And one of the things that they're actually asking right now is, hey, is this going to continue? Right. And we're like, well, based off of track record, normally, I have to say, we do a pretty good job. And I can't guarantee it because I can't guarantee future results.
Sure.
But based off of what we do, based off of the strategies, based off of our track record, it looks like it can continue. Will it continue at the current rate? Maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more. Who knows? But the fact of the matter is, we're not just doing one thing. We're not just saying, hey, I'm here to grow your money, right? Because here's the other story, of which the gain was, we've already peeled the gains off, right? And put them someplace else to secure them that we know that's like dealer money. Like, for instance, it's like, I'm not a big gambler, but if I went to a blackjack table and I started with, let's say, I don't know, $100. And by a few hours later, I was up to $1,000 and I took $900 and put it in my pocket and I was still playing with $100. I'm walking away with what? I'm walking away with something.
Exactly.
If I lost $100, I have to make a decision, right? Do I reinvest or do I basically walk away? But the fact is, I'm walking away with profit. It's the same concept. If you don't actually have a strategy that your portfolio is moving profits off the table, then what you're doing is you're continually keeping profits at risk.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
And if you do that, that's a buy, hold strategy.
Yep.
And it's like a boat that's on the tide. One day it's up, the next day it's down. Right? So at one time you look at your portfolio or you look at your statement and it could be positive. The next day it could be negative, or the next month it could be negative. But all you're doing is floating around. We want to make it where it's a tiered step-up approach where you're constantly moving in the right direction, or at least you're spooning off profit from your accounts.
Absolutely.
Use it to your advantage.
Peggy, what causes more damage, or what can be more damaging? The reluctancy to give you a call, or the procrastination of saying, let me get through the first quarter of next year? What could be more damaging?
I think both. Either you're sitting on the sideline or you're just waiting and waiting and waiting. What are you waiting for? Like, let's get this together. And I sometimes I can be brutally honest with the people, and I'll say, when I say, it's always, let me think about it. Let me talk to my husband. Let me talk to my wife. What are we talking about?
But you said brutally honest.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where when someone says that, I say, no, you're not.
Yeah, he does. Mark, he does.
I'll think about that. No, you won't.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
This isn't a car dealership.
Yeah.
You're not deciding whether you're getting a blue car or a red car, right? You're not deciding whether it's going to be diesel or gas.
Yeah, and we've seen this for years. I mean, it's the same.
It is we've talked about this on a number of other podcasts.
Yes.
It's a fear mechanism.
Yes.
And essentially, it's an objection.
It's just about pulling the trigger on your money.
I can sit there for hours and play games and salesmanship and objection resolution and go over it and try to talk people into something.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to do.
Nope.
I'm here to advise people, not to sell you something.
Yeah.
If I have to sell you on a plan, go find somebody else.
Yeah, or we educate. We just educated you on I don't know how many issues. You sat in our office for an hour or two and listen, make the decision.
We run our practice like a doctor's office.
Yes, exactly.
If I have to show you and prove to you that I'm giving you penicillin to save your life, then you don't. Then your life's not worth saving. It's not worth it.
On that
you know
note.
what? Sometimes that's called evolution.
Oh my gosh.
Brutally honest.
Being brutally honest
Randy
here.
Randy Fisher, Peggy Fisher.
It's
That's
true.
the team.
You can't. The whole adage. You can walk a horse to water, right?
Yes.
But you can't make him drink.
Nope,
it.
you can't.
If the damn thing wants to die of thirst, let him die of thirst, because you can't just pump it in their body.
Yeah.
I can show you. I can prove to you. I can't pull the trigger.
Yeah.
It's not my money, right? So it's not the decision. You do have to have a little bit of faith. You do have to have a little bit of trust. And if you don't want to go all in, don't go all in. But certainly start something.
Yeah. And you always talk about like that procrastination. So it's someone saying, oh, should I? Until something bad happens. That's when then they'll give a call. I should have. Oh, my God. Why didn't I go with a financial advisor, a year ago? I could have been in a different scenario. Like,
but then you hear, I can't move now.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, it's another what? Excuse.
Oh, always.
Yeah. When I was 10 years old, my coach told me excuses are for losers.
I know.
You can write that one down. That's a new one. I haven't said that in a while. But excuses are for losers. And the bottom line
you're
is
losing out.
You'll always get what you've always got if you always do what you've always done.
Did your dad say that?
No,
I feel like that's
I
what
don't
your
even
dad
know if I
would've
just
said.
made that up, but it's a fact.
No,
I
it
mean,
is
think
a
about
fact.
that. It's a constant loop of procrastination.
Can you
right?
say that again, though?
What's that?
You always get what you
You'll always get what you've always got if you've always done what you've always done.
Dr. Seuss if he's drunk.
Yeah.
And people fall into what? Habit.
They do.
Right? It's a habit of saying no.
Yeah.
Peggy has a habit of saying no
I
to
do.
our
I
kids.
have-
As soon
I'm
as
a
our
knower.
kids ask a question, the answer is no.
No.
Or what time can I? What is it? What does she say too? I'm thinking about it in a second. When will we be there? 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or when will it happen? 5 minutes. And my kids, when they were 2 years old,
they said
they'd be like,
your 5 minutes is 1 hour.
1 hour. That's a lie. You're lying.
No, you're lying. My one son would always say, "You're lying. 5 minutes is an hour." Because
like, well, just
I just wanted to
add 55 minutes.
And if you think about it, it's just like a client coming into office who just wants to like pacify me and saying I don't want to do it. That's what I would do with my own kids. Yeah, 5 more minutes, and they're like, "Your 5 minutes is an hour." That's a lie.
There's literally only two reasons why people don't do business with people. Period. The end. One, they don't trust them. And two, they don't have money to do it.
Yeah, or fear. I say it's just the fear of doing something.
Let me go back to that 1 second. They don't have the money to do it. They don't want to know what they have.
Yeah, they're scared.
For instance, we always ask somebody, how much debt do you have? About, blah, blah. Well, not about. Open up the credit card statement.
Yeah.
It's not about. How much is your mortgage balance? It's about. No, it's not about.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. What do you?
this,
No,
right?
no. I'll say no. What do you pay every month? You pay a certain amount every month.
I love that. Or we just had another couple come in. Well, not even a couple. It was a single person came in and his wife wasn't here, but he basically said that he covered all of the bills.
Yeah.
And then he says, well my wife
she
covers
pays
the groceries, the JCP&L.
And I'm like, wait, you didn't.
What bills do you cover? Right? So, so it was, so we're putting all of that money away? No, we're not putting all that money away. They live up to their eyeballs.
Yeah.
So, you have to understand when it comes to finances, there's a real number, right? You can't avoid real numbers because then all you're doing is lying to yourself. And if you're lying to yourself and you're just guessing numbers, guessing is so far off. It's like saying, well, I may retire one day. I may retire at 55. I may retire at 95.
Right.
There's nothing that's paramount to saying that this is going to happen.
Yeah. But then, like Randy, to that point, we had another younger couple come in, and they had their eyeballs into debt and really wanted advice from us on what to do and the whole entire thing.
But they took our advice.
That's where I'm going with this, Rand. They took our advice, and 2 years later, debt free, feel phenomenal.
And what was the first thing they said, though? They want to invest money.
Yeah.
And what we said was, you're not investing
can't
money
invest
until we
it.
get out of debt.
We're getting out of debt first. And hey, listen, as us for financial planners, we weren't getting anything out of the deal, right?
But we taught them how to get out of debt.
We taught them how to get out of debt, but then they now 2 years later, and they came into some money.
Yes.
Now we can do things, right?
And now their life is a lot more.
They're so happy. Oh my God.
Palatable.
When they first came in, they were like, and that's anybody who has that debt and has that fear. You don't want to talk about it because you're like, oh my God, it just needs to go away. That's just like anything, right?
People think about debt as it's always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
They'll never get out of it.
You can get out of it.
And it's something they're going to have to live with.
Yeah, no.
That's not true.
That's not true.
It's absolutely not true. If you have credit cards and you have the ability to pay them off or you pay them off over a period of time, no problem. But when you get to a point where you have $50, $60, $70, $80,000 worth of debt and you're making $100,000 and $140,000 a year, there's a big problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Big problem.
Right.
It becomes insurmountable. It's almost like the federal debt.
Yeah.
Right. It's you start to think about it. It's comical. Are we really going to get out of this, or what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm just going to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be, I'm going to pay an extra couple dollars. That's going to be, it doesn't put a dent in it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
If you look at it that way, you'll never get out of debt. If you look at it that way, you'll never save.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it that way, you're never going to retire comfortably.
Right.
Because everything in your life then is reactive, not proactive.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Be proactive. Artemis Wealth Advisors, Liberty Finance Group, the Real Retirees of New Jersey.com. To meet the team, you could schedule that consultation from the homepage. And of course, you can find all of that information here in the show notes. Excuses are for losers.
Or losers.
We got another one from Randy Fisher. Thank
Don't
you
be a
very much.
loser.
Don't be a loser.
Be a winner.
Be a winner. Be a winner. As always, thank you both. Thank you for the information and the education, and thank you for listening. This has been the Real Retirees of New Jersey, all powered by Artemis Wealth Advisors and Liberty Financial Group.
We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Investment advisor services offered through Artemis Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Artemis Wealth Advisors is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Randolph A. Fisher, insurance license number 9616074, and Liberty Financial Group, LLC, and Peggy Fisher, national license number 189-42003 and 570-5833.